Hey guys, I'm back with another Batmobile, and this time we're going to be taking a look at another Arkham Knight model. This is the 1/43rd scale Hot Wheels Elite Batman Arkham Knight Batmobile. This is the second one to be released by Hot Wheels. Now, this is another one that I've really been looking forward to, so let's get right into it and check out the packaging. The box is very simple, mainly black with the Hot Wheels Elite and the Batman Arkham Knight logos. Now, it's marked Elite, and for Hot Wheels, sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's a bad thing. Some of their Elite models are very accurate, but sometimes they are a complete divergence from the original. Just from the image on the box, though, this one looks to be pretty straightforward. So let's get this one out of the box and see what we have inside. And here it is. I gotta say, guys, I really like this one. It looks great. The car is primarily black with a few color accents, but some parts of the black are glossy and others are a matte color, which gives it a little bit of variety along with the texture. The die-cast mold for this one is awesome. The sculpt looks really accurate, and it has some really nice detail on the top there where the battle turret is supposed to come out. Now, most of the Hot Wheels that I have are predominantly die-cast metal, but this Batmobile kind of reminds me of some of the Eaglemoss models, because the main body is metal, but it has quite a few plastic parts, like the fins and the fenders. Of course, the bottom plate is plastic. And unlike the Eaglemoss models, the wheels on this one move. In fact, this model has 8 individual rubber wheels. I guess to sort of simulate the way the wheels work when this Batmobile is in battle mode. The tires have these gold accents, and I'm not sure if this will pick up on camera, but just to show you the level of detail on this model, they did actually include the tiny bat symbols in the center of the tires. I think that's pretty cool. This Elite model has some gold accents throughout on the tires, and there's a little bit of gold on the battle turret and the vents on the back. I'm not sure if that is entirely accurate to the way that it looks in the game. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm used to seeing more of a gunmetal color on some of those parts. Now, this Hot Wheels doesn't have many features. The battle turret doesn't pop up, the canopy doesn't open, but as I showed you, all 8 of the wheels rotate. They don't always roll at the same rate, but they do all move. Let's do a few size comparisons so you guys can see just how big this Batmobile is. While it is a 1/43rd scale model, it doesn't always seem to be in scale with some of the other Batmobiles that I have. Let's start off with the first Arkham Knight that was released by Hot Wheels. This is the 1/64 scale. Now, this one is obviously smaller, and you can see it has silver accents as opposed to the gold. Hot Wheels is supposed to be releasing one more Arkham Knight Batmobile, a large 1/18 scale, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to get that one, especially since I have the Batmobile edition of the video game on pre-order. The other Hot Wheels size that I mainly collect is their 1/50 scale models. Here's the Hot Wheels 1/50 scale of the 1989 Batmobile. Again, most of the Hot Wheels that I have are either in this scale or the smaller traditional size, and I think these two look pretty good together. They look to be about the same size. Now, here is the Eaglemoss 89 Batmobile, and while these are both a 1/43rd scale, I think because of the design, the 89 looks a little bit bigger. All of the Eaglemoss models are 1/43rd scale, like this Hot Wheels Elite is supposed to be. But when you set this Hot Wheels Arkham Knight Batmobile next to the Eaglemoss Arkham Asylum Batmobile, the Asylum looks substantially bigger. And I think that's sort of my misunderstanding. I've mentioned this in some of my other videos. I just naturally thought that the Arkham Knight was a bigger vehicle because it's supposed to be more like a tank, but it's probably similar in size to many of the other Batmobiles. Now, I'm not necessarily particular about scale. To me, it doesn't really matter. These are all going on display in my collection, and I think they look awesome together. I want to do one more comparison. Here's the Eaglemoss model of the Tumbler. These look to be closer in scale with one another. I wanted to compare it with this one because both of these Batmobiles are very tank-like. I know that some fans either love or hate the Tumbler. I've loved it since day one. And while the Arkham Knight Batmobile is meant to be like the Tumbler, more like a tank, to me it still has more of a traditional Batmobile design. Now, if you haven't heard already, Eaglemoss recently announced that they will be releasing a subscribers special of the Arkham Knight Batmobile, and I cannot wait to get that one. I think you can pre-order it from companies like Big Bad Toy Store if you don't have a subscription to Eaglemoss. It looks like their model will be displayed with the battle turret deployed. It looks pretty cool. I'm definitely going to get that one, and I'd really be interested to see how that one compares in size with this Hot Wheels Elite. Like I said, I'm definitely getting the Batmobile edition of the game, and I can't wait to see what that Triforce model looks like. And of course, I can't wait to play the game. I said it before, I love the design of the Batman universe within these Rocksteady games. This new Batmobile is a perfect example of why. The design of the Arkham series has this real-world Nolan feel to it, but instead of being totally grounded in reality, everything is still rooted in the comic book world. In the games, I kind of imagine the Arkham Asylum Batmobile as Batman's main ride, and this one is the Bat Tank that he sort of uses in the story against the Arkham Knight and his army. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens when the game comes out. I do like that militarized look, and I do think that Rocksteady was possibly borrowing from the design of the Tumbler. Now, speaking of borrowing, we've all seen the images of the Batmobile in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and I can't help but think of the Arkham Knight Batmobile whenever I see that design. It was the first thing I thought of when they first revealed those images of the Batmobile. I personally think there's a definite connection there. They both have that low-to-the-ground, dragster type of body, and they both look like they're outfitted for battle. In closing, this is a great die-cast model from Hot Wheels. I think the dimensions are accurate, and the detail in the sculpt is pretty intricate. I also like the fact that they chose to give it to us in pursuit mode as opposed to battle mode. Now, in the game, this Batmobile has quite a few features. However, the only feature on this Hot Wheels is the moving tires. But, the sculpt is very faithful to what we've seen in the gameplay, and the construction is very solid. This is the third Arkham Knight Batmobile in my collection. So far, this looks to be the most accurate release. I've already done a review of the Hot Wheels 1/64 scale and a review of the DC Multiverse Batmobile, and I'll leave links to those reviews in the description box if you haven't seen those videos already. So, we've been looking at the Hot Wheels Elite 1/43 scale model of the Batmobile from Batman Arkham Knight. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.